G'day guys, MFWest here, and today we're talking about the most recent changes or post about the 7.2.5 PTR build. Now, a lot of things were said in this patch notes, but let's just talk about Unholy. And before I go into that, I want to go into Unholy situation right now. So currently Unholy is last. We are the worst DPS in Legion. That is evident. And the problem is that there isn't much representation for Unholy either, so I mean, if people are doing well, it's not really being seen as well. But if you know your class and you perform at a high level, you will outperform and outshine other classes, 100%. But I want to make a point, for example, as you guys can see here, this is the wild logs for Mythic 90th percentile. We are last. We're losing to every class. I could change it to Heroic. It wouldn't really change anything at all. We are still last at 90th percentile. And I was clearing Heroic Nighthold yesterday at the guild. Currently, I cannot raid Mythic. I'm in Central European time, and it's impossible for me to raid with US Mythic guilds. That is out of the question. I have to get up at like 2 a.m. in the morning, which is completely fucked. So I'm only going to raid Mythic when I'm back in Oz, and I'm definitely looking forward to pushing that content with you guys. But clearing Heroic last night on Chiliax Heroic, for example, 96 percentiles, 800k. A Frost Mage at like a 60 percentile, 70 percentile is doing that kind of damage. Like, you understand what I mean? Spellblade, 99 percentile. It's just, if I push these high percentiles, there are classes who are barely even, pushing purple yet orange percentiles, legendary percentiles, and they're doing better than I am here. This is Croesus. Um, so it's quite depressing, and the good thing is in these patch notes, it is evident that Blizzard is looking at Unholy. They realize that Unholy is shit, but the question is, will they do anything about it? They can look at a class and not do a single thing about it and just laugh at it and point fingers at it. But let's get into it, guys. Now, the most important thing is, it even fucked me up, is that these patch notes are not going live. Um, I would not say, uh, I wouldn't actually like take these patch notes as a 100% last resort kind of thing. So let's look at the first two piece. Remember I told you guys in the previous video that they're working on the current Unholy Death Knight 2 piece for tier 20? Here it is. This might be it. Not set in stone. Each skill summoned by Army of the Dead increases damage dealt by 0% for 0 seconds. So this actually couples in with our 4 set very well. So our whole tier set looks to be revolved around our 4 set, or Army of the Dead, sorry. Everything is revolved around Army of the Dead. Now, this can be cool. Now, keep in mind, this does not include Apocalypse. This is solely for Army of the Dead, guys. Apocalypse is not included. So, that's going to be interesting. And if our force set reduces the cooldown of Army of the Dead by, what was it? It was, I can't remember the number, but 3 seconds for every rune you spend. And people have been guesstimating and theorizing that our Army of the Dead with Forset will be in like a 2.5 minute to 3 minute cooldown. Now that's pretty crazy if that goes through. We don't know yet. So let's just keep that in mind that our Forset, our tier set is very important for the next expansion. Now we got a huge fucking paragraph of notes. Now I ignored some of the most important parts of his notes, and I thought these were all straight up buffs. But if you guys go down to the bottom, Unholy Death Knights have an aura. It's like an unholy aura, and it currently increases our damage by 6%. This last thing here, they've reverted it from 6%, which can basically all our damage spells, guys, to 3%. And that 3% damage has been put into all the other abilities. And people have been thinking that this is basically only a 3% buff. All these changes to all our talents, Clawing Shadow buffs, Defile buffs, Epidemic, Sorry Burst, Shadow Infusion, everything, it's all just a 3% buff. But I'm not sure. Let's just wait to see what happens on the PTR. Some people are testing out on live PTR. We'll see what they say. But honestly, this patch goes live in a month, so we'll see how that actually affects it. But it's quite depressing. Like, they just trolled us of this entire fucking massive amount of patch notes of that one line of. This is silly. A few things to note. Scourge Strike they actually buffed, and Festering Strike. So we could see a return to our initial build, the Crit Haste build with Festering Strike and Scourge Strike at the start of the expansion. If you have the Legendary Braces, I'm not sure yet. I'm not going to say anything. Death Coil got buffed. Sniper got buffed. Shadow Infusion. This is interesting. While your ghoul is not transformed, Death Coil will reduce the remaining cooldown of Dark Transformation by currently 5, now 7. But let's remember that Death Coil, they may be changing the amount of runic power that Death Coil costs. So this basically complements that. If you haven't got enough runic power to use Death Coils, this whole talent's based around Death Coil, so they have to increase the remaining the chance that you're sorry, they'll have to reduce the remaining cooldown by 7 seconds instead of 5 because Death Coil energy runic power cost is going to be increased. You know what I mean? So no serious straight up buffs like this little fucking 3% thing. But let's forget about that now and talk about Unholy PvP. Death Knights in PvP are really quite poor right now, but Unholy is the best spec for it. And Frost is utter garbage right now, guys. It's horrible. So they've changed Crypt Fever now. Let's see what you guys think of this one. Whenever enemies are healed while afflicted by your festering wounds, they take 85%. Now it is enemies healed while afflicted by your festering wounds have a chance to take 200% of AP shadow damage. Now that's a massive buff in damage, but there's now RNG involved. Now I was trying to think like why they introduce RNG. This is gonna make our effectiveness against healers and resto druids especially really bad. So I went to the top here, and recently today they made an actual change, and they said another little paragraph, guys, about Crypt Fever. Crypt Fever is changing to have a higher chance on each healing event to deal more damage than it does currently on live. This change is to smooth out the honor talent's power based on the type of healer you're facing, while still keeping an emphasis that is powerful against healer over time effects. We'll be tuning the proc rate and internal cooldown to make sure we're hitting the numbers we want against each type of healer. So if it's doing a large amount of damage and the RNG chance isn't that bad, I'm okay with it. So let's just see how that goes. I really do hope that Crypt Fever isn't nerfed by any means. Now look at the next fucking line. Thank fucking God, guys. Fix Necrotic Strike. Changes to Necrotic Strike are coming in 7.2.5. Hallelujah. Finally, they've actually listened to us, and I don't know who they listened to, or they just noticed that it was utter garbage. Necrotic Strike is going to be changed in 7.2.5, so let's hope they scale it up. This could seriously bring back Unholy into a much stronger position, guys. This is pretty big. So those were all the patch notes, guys. I just wanted to give you guys my opinion, my 2 cents, and I'll keep you guys updated 100% on the changes that Unholy is going to go through. If anything changes with these patch notes, I will let you know. A good way to keep up with me and my feedback and my opinion, I always post on Facebook and Twitter. It's MFWest WoW. You guys should definitely go give me a follow. I always talk about Unholy and everything happening to Unholy. So that is the video today, guys. I hope this goes in the right direction. Unholy for the win, guys. Have an awesome day. Peace.